Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are grabbing front row seats right inside the shifting walls of the Spire of Total Chaos for a cosmic stage play unfolding at the very edge of reality. Our guide for this journey is a grim theatrical narrator known simply as The Hunger. Through this beautifully dark and surreal fable, The Hunger presents us with a fascinating character study of an antihero called the Spark of Evolution. We are checking our linear logic at the door today, shedding the mundane rules of physics, and exploring a universe where reality itself is written in wet ink. So let's just dive right into this theatrical world. Listen closely, my dear co-authors of the messy mischief, for the old world is currently drowning in the very ink it used to draft its chains. That striking opening really sets the stage and introduces us to our central figure, the Spark of Evolution. Picture him standing right at the lip of a shifting precipice, adorned in this vibrant red and blue Joker's motley that violently contrasts with the iridescent twilight all around him. The bells on his pointed cowl are jingling, a sound that The Hunger actually describes as a literal death knell for linear logic itself. He is laughing at the old world, standing before his fellow spirit siblings, gleefully pointing out that the very tools used to control reality are now washing it entirely away. Act 1. The stage of liquid geometry. So our anti-hero and his siblings have stepped into what is known as the Spire of Total Chaos. And let me tell you, this isn't your average building. It is a moving foundation. Physical reality has lost all of its former rigidity here. The walls of this tower literally shift and flow, becoming this beautiful, smeared canvas of liquid geometry. It's a surreal playhouse, and this brilliantly illustrates the Spark's core philosophy, which is that absolute security isn't found in standing perfectly still. Actually, scratch that, it's more like true security and sovereignty are found only by embracing constant movement and unpredictable whim. To really wrap our heads around the Spire, we have to look at what came before it. Think about the old world, the one ruled by the High Sorcerers. They built this fearful architecture of stasis. They spent eons huddled in stone chambers, petrifying their rivers into glass, and even scheduling the suns by royal decree. Why? Well, because they were absolutely terrified of the spill, the stain, the loss of control. But contrast that with the Spire of Total Chaos, ruled by the ultimate stain. It fully embraces liquid geometry and shifting walls. The Spire thrives on exactly what the sorcerers feared most. Act 2. Mocking the architecture of stasis. Now, what's really fascinating here is the Spark's absolute disdain for the High Sorcerer's delusion of control. Listen closely to this specific warning. The High Sorcerers insisted that a tower must stand perfectly still to be a tower. They hid behind the illusion of unqualified repose, creating all these fragile legal decrees to govern the universe. But, as the Spark points out, an inflexible structure is doomed from the start. A structure which cannot bend has already volunteered to break. The rigid cages of logic are incredibly brittle. By refusing to bend to the chaotic forces of the universe, the architecture of stasis basically volunteered for its own destruction. And this brings us to what the Spark calls the supreme cosmic joke of geometry. The old monarchs pushed endlessly for total control, genuinely believing they were walking a straight line away from chaos. But they completely failed to realize they exist on a circular timeline. If you march far enough down the straight line of total control, you inevitably crash directly into the back of total chaos. It's wild to think about, right? The beginning and the ending of history are the exact same point. Their obsessive push for absolute order is literally what triggered the collapse. So how does the Spark view the Spire of Total Chaos in contrast? Well, it doesn't hide from the storm. It actively participates in it. Stepping across the threshold of the Spire means finally abandoning the suffocating safety of the shore. It is a direct invitation to plunge headfirst into the crucible of creation and destruction. The tearing away of the roof isn't a tragedy in this grim fable. It's a breathtaking opportunity to give the wind a more beautiful shape. Act 3. The Wet Parchment Marketplace. Let's head down to the marketplace and see how this chaotic resonance bleeds into the world of men. Picture this. The great star of high time manifests, and as he clicks his fractured crown of clock faces, a massive, catastrophic blot of chaotic timeline drops right onto the weary souls below. This creates a high time resonance that instantly fractures the rigid, scheduled world of the populace. The entire marketplace is transformed into a literal wet parchment sheet where history begins actively rewriting itself right before their very eyes. The cosmic horror of this shifting geography is absolute. But The Hunger describes it with this terrible, captivating beauty. Just look at the cascading destruction during this collapse. The merchant scales, They no longer weigh dead gold. Instead, they measure the heavy, volatile weight of forgotten dreams. The rigidly drawn borders on maps actually begin to bleed. Entire mountains literally get up and walk. And right from the center of this celestial spill, a dancing star of smoky, iridescent starlight is born, forcing the frozen populace to dance to a brand new rhythm that is completely alien to the world of men. Act 4, Embracing Chaos, as Amr Fati. So the crucial point here is how the spark reacts to this beautifully ruined landscape. We can look at his embrace of this collapsing world through the philosophical lens of Amor Fati, which is the profound love and acceptance of one's fate. While the source text itself doesn't explicitly drop that exact term, it perfectly captures the spark's mindset. For him, watching the meticulous laws and fortresses of the High Sorcerers crumble isn't a tragedy at all. It is a grand, liberating comedy. He realizes, and joyously proves to his siblings, that stasis was the true anomaly all along. The natural state of the universe is the spill, the stain, the glorious chaos.
Because the ink of reality is wet once more, the spark invites his chaotic kin to become the ultimate unbinding agents. Their mission isn't to rebuild those old laws. No way. It's to run through these shifting walls, turning grim fortresses into a surreal playhouse of unpredictable whim. They are there to weave the lingering nightmares of the old world into cosmic jokes. They're taking total control of the canvas before the ink dries, because the show has only just begun.
Act 5, We Are the Frame Now. As the curtain prepares to fall on this stage play, we arrive at the profound shift at the heart of the Hunger's presentation. In the old architecture of stasis, beings were either masters or servants, essentially just prisoners of logic trapped inside the cages they built. But in the spire of total chaos, the spark realizes they transcend those outdated roles. By accepting their fate, they become the artist philosophers. They don't just exist within reality anymore. They become the frame itself, shaping the spill and the stain as it happens. They are the new sovereigns of the shifting margin.
The Hunger wraps up this explainer by leaving us with a final mocking challenge delivered directly by the spark of evolution. As the world melts into liquid geometry and bleeding maps, the entire illusion of safety is shattered. If the very foundation of existence is moving, shifting, and taking flight, then clinging to the old rigid rules is the only true madness. So I leave you with this to ponder. In a universe defined by constant change and unpredictable whim, what invisible cages of logic are you still volunteering to live inside?